Okay, I had a few requests from people that wanted to see this lens that I reviewed, was it yesterday or the day before yesterday? The best lens that I have, a flat out bar none. I shouldn't even have two of them because it's ridiculous. One would last anybody a lifetime. What's that Willy Wonka show? They talk about the everlasting Gobstopper, and the little prissy broad says, I want another, and he goes, well, one will last anybody a lifetime. It's ridiculous to want another one. Yeah, that's a bit of a peripheral discussion there, huh? So anyway, this is the 35mm f2 Carl Zeiss Distagon. This is a ZF.2. I told you yesterday I made a video, a dark video, because I grabbed the wrong camera. Sorry! Everybody makes mistakes. I grabbed the wrong DSLR, had an AIS lens on it. And I hadn't slept for 2.5 days, so I was insanely tired. Let's take a look at it closely here. Now, there's a little push button stop over here when you're on f/22, so it will stay locked in place so you don't accidentally release it. And this is like an AIP lens. What's an AIP lens? Okay, let's show you this first. Okay, we got to f/22, back to f/22, and the aperture lock will engage. And AIP lens, as I've told you before, some people probably not watched the video, it's just like an older AIS lens, except this one has CPU contacts, which means that unlike the ZF lens, and this is a ZF2, the ZF lens does not have these CPU contacts for data communication with the camera. You'd have to set non-CPU settings on the lens. This lens lets you use on the camera in program mode, aperture, shutter, priority manual. Lets you use it in every mode possible. So you don't actually have to sit there and turn the dial on this one. You actually change the aperture via the sub-command dial on the camera. So that's what an AIP lens is. It's like a transitional lens between the old AIS manual focus lenses and the autofocus lenses. And this is like an AIP lens. Is incredibly heavy, little sucker. One of the great things about it is that the throw is not that long. Throw being between closest focus and infinity. Here's the throw on this lens. I don't actually have to move my hand. A lot of lenses you have to sit there and move your hand because the throw is so long. On this one I don't actually have to change my hand position to actually focus from infinity to closest focus. And I do have a filter on this lens. And this is what it looks like. I noticed, however, it's back in stock right now. Someone sent me a message last night and said, this lens, when I first looked at it when you made the video, was in stock in B&H Photo, but an hour after you made the video, the lens showed to be on back order. But for some reason, I must have got them back in again because it shows it back in stock. But for most of the day, the lens was on back order. I assume no, B&H doesn't give me a nickel on anything. Nobody does, okay? Anyway, and here's the lens hood. This is, of course, the pinnacle of perfection on lens hood. It has a felt lining. It's a three-piece. The way it actually engages, if you threw $1 million at reinventing the lens hood, you actually could not come up with something better than this. And here are the little mounting dots right here and here. And this is it. Click engagement. So that's the lens hood for the 35mm f2 Distagon. As I told you yesterday, this is I coined this. I call it a pseudo macro because I uploaded a couple test shots. Everybody said, well, you know, give us some examples of closest focus where you crop the hell out of it and it looks like a macro lens. So I can actually shoot this at 12 or 14 inches and crop the hell out of it, and this lens is so intergalactically sharp that it looks like, instead of using this 35mm wide lens, I use this 100mm macro lens. Something else that also doesn't really exist, generally speaking, is awesome bokeh on a wide lens, and this lens has awesome bokeh. It's a 9-element lens in 7 groups. This is the only lens that I've ever used in my life, and you know damn well I've used a lot of lenses, that is perfect in basically every attribute. It is not sharp, it is intergalactically sharp. I don't know, that doesn't really mean anything, but it's kind of just like a giant exclamation point about how damn sharp this lens is. I use it on my D750, my D810, and on my D7100. It's perfect for a DX camera as well. Now the price is currently dropped because they're replacing this lens with the Milvus 35 millimeters. So this lens is currently $200 off. It's $917, I believe, or you can snag a used one. I've seen a few on eBay for like $680, basically mint, almost unused, from Japan. This lens, of course, is made in Japan. For Zeiss, and Zeiss oversees every aspect of the production of this lens. Some Zeiss lenses are made in Germany. The build quality on this is a 10 out of 10. The bokeh is awesome bokeh on a wide lens is just unheard of. The bokeh on this is incredible. The sharpness on it, on a scale of 1 to 10, this lens has to go well beyond a 10, and that's the only lens I have ever or will ever say that about, but it does. And back in the day when I worked at Beach Photo and Video, I mean, I got to play with the $20,000 Leica lenses and take them home, and I do know what a damn expensive, awesome lens is like, because I used to screw around with those lenses, especially when the boss wasn't there, because he didn't like me to mess with the lenses, but to hell with him, he's dead, right? Oh, I shouldn't have said that. Well, he was an old crusty bastard 20 years ago. He's probably sitting at the right hand of Satan right now. Oh, I shouldn't have said that. Just kidding. Very, very heavy. It is very forgiving, unlike the other lens I just reviewed. The insanely expensive 100mm macro planar. If you're not careful with this lens, it will spank you if you don't treat it right as far as the results you get. Any wide lens, the throw isn't that far anyway, so this lens is very, very forgiving. So if you're not skilled at manual focus, you're really not going to have an issue with this. I mean, you're just not. So that's not a concern. I've been asked that question already about this lens, and the sharpness, the rendition, the micro contrast, the bokeh, the fact that it's a pseudo macro in the true sense. It's like, well, it doesn't pass for a macro. No, I mean, it passes as a macro. I mean, when you crop the hell out, it's just that damn sharp. I mean, it just damn is. So, especially if you're on a trip, even though this lens is very heavy, it passes as two lenses, so you can use this as a macro lens. I mean, seriously, you can use this as a macro lens. I love the dickens out of it, and this lens, just put it short and sweet, since sometimes I'm verbose, logomachy, right? This lens blows the absolute piss out of every other lens that I own, or have ever owned, and it's not a very pretty lens, but what does pretty count for? The only thing that matters is the light that's captured and rendered and whatnot to the back of the sensor and ultimately captured, so it may not be the prettiest lens in the world, but it's a 10 out of 10 on build quality. It's a 15 out of 10 on sharpness. The IQ on this is incredible. Micro contrast bokeh, and I just wanted to show you a close-up of it, since it seems like a dozen or so of you apparently ordered this lens last night. So this is the best lens I've ever owned, flat out bar none, and that's not me being subjective. I have to be objective, because I would never want anybody to unnecessarily spend their hard-earned dollars on something. Well, I think this lens is great. It's great because I said so and I like it. I hate reviews like that. I can't stand reviews like that. I love this lens. Why do you love it? Well, I love it because I love it, Who needs to piss their time away on reviews? Now, I may be long-winded and repeat myself too much. I mean, everybody has their own flaws, but I'm not going to be found guilty of making subjective sort of commentarials like that on stuff where someone, spends their hard-earned cash on something that's, even while it's $200 off, it's an expensive lens. So, thank you very much. If you like this video, you can go tell me to jump off a cliff or drop me a buck or two or whatever makes you most happy. I am, believe it or not, actually happy when you guys, grab stuff like this and you report back and you're screaming like a little teenage schoolgirl, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, I love this lens, thank you so much. That actually makes me happy too, believe it or not. Well, it should be believable because it's absolutely true, so. But if you get this lens, if this lens doesn't make you scream like a little schoolgirl, then I'm going to have to come over and x-ray you to make sure that you actually have a heart, because owning this lens and not being ecstatic about its results, its output, is just nothing short of impossible. And I don't say that lightly. So, thank you very much. Catch you later. Bye.